Becky, I'm home from shopping and I'm really hungry. Is anything ready?
Dinner's at the table.
Okay, I'll be in. Wow, this looks good. You know, it was really busy out there in the stores shopping, and I got so hungry that I could just eat. I could probably even eat the plate. Can't seem to get it on my fork. I don't understand this. I'm going to start with dessert because you know how I love dessert. Maybe I'll just pick it up and eat it. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. And the icing is so great. Wait a minute. That's not real. That's real sponges. That's not sponge cake.
I got you, Grandpa Bob. We're going to learn how to make pretend food today.
But now you have to make me another cake.
All right, I will.
Okay. Now, it doesn't have to be a sponge cake.
Okay. Wow, my pretend food almost fooled Grandpa Bob. When I was young, I loved to play with pretend food. Did you know that it's easy to make? I'm going to show you how to make some edible Play-Doh, cake out of sponges, pretend spaghetti, and tacos. Let's give our budding little chef something to play with. Let's make some pretend cake. I think I found a gold mine with these sponges. I needed a soft yellow sponge with a colorful edge to it. And it's this type of material that you're looking for in the sponge. I bought 2 boxes so that I could put them together and have 4 different pieces of cake. You'll need a glue gun, scissors, and paint. I've used fabric, acrylic, and puffy paint. You're going to take a sponge and cut a triangle shape out of it. I just put my fingers in the corners and pointed them together like a triangle, and then I made a mark where I needed to put the cut. I had a good pair of scissors and I cut out the first triangle. I used a matching color sponge from the other pack and put the first triangle on top. I cut around that so that the shapes would match. I hot glued the yellow part of the sponge. I put one part on top of the other so that it was blue, yellow, so it would look like you have a layer of icing in the middle. I squirted some of the fabric paint on this particular sponge, and then I cut up little pieces of red and green construction paper to look like sprinkles. The paint was still wet, so I knew that the sprinkles would stay. Didn't that turn out cute? If your kids are anything like me, they like a lot of icing. So I wanted to add icing to the back edge of the sponge, and I used blue acrylic paint for this. I lightened it with some white, so I tried to make it match the color that's on the sponge. After I had my paint mixed, I painted the back yellow part of the sponge. Now that's a better amount of icing. For my second piece of cake, I decorated it with puffy paint. Puffy paint is just an equal mixture of glue and shaving cream. You stir that around until it's well mixed. Then I took a baggie and trimmed a little hole in one of the corners. I filled the puffy paint into the baggie, and then I squeezed the paint out, just like you do an icing bag or decorating bag. I found that the puffy paint worked better than the fabric paint or the acrylic paint. The possibilities are endless. It ended up looking like this. I mixed some blue and yellow paint in order to paint the back of the sponge. Here it is all finished. You can use this time to teach your kids how to mix colors. I took primary colors plus white, and I made all kinds of different colors so I could continue decorating. Let your kids use their imagination and decorate them however they want. These are what mine turned out to look like. I had a lot of fun. Too bad you can't eat them. I think it's a whole new meaning of sponge cake, don't you? We need to make a main dish. Let's make spaghetti. You'll need yellow felt, red and green paper, aluminum foil, red paint, scissors, and a paintbrush. I cut this piece of felt into long strips for noodles. They looked like this. I cut pieces of foil into somewhat equal sections. Then I crinkled them into a ball. I made 6. I painted the foil balls with red acrylic paint, and then I set them aside to dry. They looked like this. I put the dried meatballs onto the noodles. I cut some red and green paper into small pieces for garnish and added that to the dish. It looks so realistic, no wonder Grandpa Bob almost ate it. The next main dish we're going to make is a taco. I put a bowl of beans beside it too. For the tacos, I just used brown, tan, yellow, red, and green felt, and a sharp pair of scissors. I used a bowl to trace a circle for the tortilla. I wanted it big enough to hold all the stuffings that I had for the tortilla. I cut out lettuce, some tomatoes, cheese, and some hamburger meat. I put each of these toppings in a separate bowl, and you can lay these out for the kids and they can just start making their own taco. Maybe I should try giving this to Grandpa Bob for dinner tomorrow night. Finally, let's make some edible Play-Doh. You'll need 1 box of white cake mix, a ½ cup oil, 5 tablespoons of powdered sugar, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and sprinkles. Put all the ingredients into a bowl and mix it well. Then I just dove in with my hands and started to form it together. I did have to add a little bit more oil because it was a little bit too dry. Now, this is edible, but it is very sweet, so I wouldn't encourage your children to be eating it, but if they do, they sure will enjoy it. My finished Play-Doh looked like this. Now it's time to have fun with it. You can let your children use an ice cream scoop and put it into an ice cream cone. I also use some muffin tin cups, and you can use muffin tins themselves. You can do all kinds of things. You can stick birthday candles into it. Let them have a great time having their own bakery. Your cake mix Play-Doh can be stored in an airtight container in the fridge for up to a week before you'll need to make more. But if your child will put the Play-Doh in their mouth, I would advise discarding it after one use. I hope you had fun learning how to make some pretend food. Be sure and get your child involved in the process. That'll make it even more special. Let's give our little bakers something fun to play with. Bon appetit!